Well, hello everyone, it's Kari back again with you on the channel today. I have a Halloween not so scary card turned into a surprise pop-up card. And I will show you what I'm using here. I've got the spider with some roller skates on. That's the not so scary part. I've got the new spider stencil here, and I'm going to be pulling in some older Halloween sets, like my favorite Halloween sentiment set you can see there on the left. And all of these are going to come together to bring us a really fun Halloween card. It is almost Halloween. This is going to be my last Halloween card for the year. And so I thought we'd make it a little extra fun today. So I've got this stencil here. I'm going to tape it to the back of my cardstock panel. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And I'm going to add some glittery black paste here. This is the Nuvo glitter gel. And I'm just going to add it all over the stencil. Originally, I thought I might do a vertical card, but I ended up doing this landscape. And we're going to make it work. I think it's going to be just fine. Those spiders are really cool. Once we get all that stenciled on, I'm going to reveal. Look at that. It's very difficult to see the glitter here in the video, but you may be able to see it better in the still photos at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and set that aside to dry while I color up this spider. This is from a new magical collection set called Fangtastic. It is probably the scariest spider I have ever colored. But he is made a little less scary by having these roller skates on, and it just made me giggle a little bit. I'm going to use some warm graves today to color up this spider. I'll add some polka dots to his body just a little bit, and then when I color up the roller skates, I'm going to add a little bit of a rainbow on the front two roller skates, and of course some purple eyes. So now I've pulled in a bunch of rainbow colors here, and I'm just going to draw this on. This will make it even, I think, a little more fun. I'm just adding these here. I've tried to get a pretty good close-up so you can see this. And then once I'm done with that rainbow, I'm going to color over all of it with some blues. And that'll make the rainbow kind of faint in the background. And then all of the roller skates I will color up in blue. The roller skate wheels will be purple. And I'm just going to speed through this coloring just a little bit because it is just a touch repetitive, but just so you can see what I'm doing here. I've got a couple shades of purple for that. And now here's where I go in with the blues right over the rainbow, but it's a light enough blue that you should still be able to see that rainbow faint in the background. And I think these remind me of some roller skates that I had as a kid. I used to roller skate all the time at Skateland. So I'm going to finish coloring up these blue roller skates, and then we'll be done with this spider portion. And we can go ahead and die cut him out using a rectangle shape from one of the frame shape dies. Again, I will link everything below so that you can see what I've used. I've also got the Punny Farm Alpha in the smaller size, and that's what I spelled out not so spooky. So the not so I spelled and then with the alphabets, and then the Halloween came from the Halloween Sentiment stamp set. The spooky, I went ahead and stamped that with some black soot and some pumice stone distress oxide. So that's how I got that gradient look. And then I heat embossed it with some clear embossing powder. Now I'm just going to take that pumice stone and a little black soot and go around the edge of this entire spider panel. Now you can see the spider on the left here that I just put it on. That panel has dried completely, and I thought it fit better in this vertical fashion, but the spiders are still directional, like they're walking to the right. I think that's okay. It's going to be fine. But my idea was to have it the other way originally, but I like how it turned out. So let's go ahead and put all of this together. We'll use some liquid adhesive to glue this to the back panel. Just like that. It is a little bit dimensional with that glitter gel in the background, so I used some acrylic blocks to put over the top to help that to dry straight down. And then we'll add the not so Halloween portion with some foam adhesive. I stamped these out with some green, and I went around the edges with a little of that green ink as well, just to make them stand out from the background a little bit more. So we'll add the not so right there, and the Halloween just below the spooky. And this card will require a little bit larger of an envelope than an A2 size, because that sentiment goes a little off the left there, you can see. That's okay. I'm going to be sending this to my nephew. His birthday is right before Halloween. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to work on the pop-up portion of this card. So I've got a strip of paper here, and I'm going to score it every ½ inch, and I'm using my pencil scoring tool here, which I really do love. So I do ½ inch, 1 inch, 1½ inch, and 2 inch, and then I fold those down, and it's going to create a little box just like this. And then I'll glue that box together. I'm leaving the long tail end on for just a minute, but we're not going to need that whole tail, just the box portion. And while that's drying, I'm going to take one of these cute little ghosts from Boo Sheet, which is another one of my most used Halloween stamp sets ever. And I'm going to stamp one of those little ghosts out. This is going to be our little pop-up surprise on the inside, because I'm making this not so spooky, but when you open it, this ghost will pop out at you just a little bit. I'm going to color him up with a little bit of the warm grays that we used on that spider, and this will just help him to pop out just a touch. And then I'll fussy cut him out. He's pretty simple to cut out. I am just turning the paper and trying to keep my scissors as straight as possible, and that'll help me make a nice little border around him. Now I've got some thick acetate here. It's very heavy duty acetate. I'm going to glue the ghost to that acetate and allow it to dry using my reverse tweezers, and then I'll cut that box off, and that's what we're going to use inside our card. Now, I didn't think this whole thing through before I started putting this together, so I'm going to teach you some tips. So I'm adding glue to 2 sides of that box, gluing one side to the bottom and one side to the top of this top folding card base. You can do this on a side fold card base too. It's the same idea, but today we're doing a top fold. And then while that dries, I am going to consider that I want a sentiment on the inside. Now, I should have done this before I added that box, because it's going to be a little tricky to stamp a sentiment with that box there in the way. So I'm going to kind of make it go off the edge of my MISTI here, hold that panel up while I stamp. Don't do this. Stamp first, then add your little box pop-up element, okay? So, but I did it. I got it done in the end. So there's the boo right there. And now we can glue the ghost, the acetate, to the front of that little box. So you can see when you close the card, the little ghost is going to go down. And when you open it, he's going to pop up with that box. It's kind of fun. You just want to make sure your acetate piece is not too long that it comes out of the side of the card. Just make sure it fits inside there. So look here, pops up just like that. That's so funny. I don't know why I'm getting a kick out of this, but it's a great Halloween surprise. So I'm going to glue the front panel on now. We've got that ready to go. And then we're going to finish up the inside real quick. And I'll show you what we're going to do there. I've added some grass with some black cardstock. I just used a die I had in my stash for the grass, and I covered the front of that little pop-up box, so it's only glued there in the center. Now I'm coloring up a circle die to look like the moon, just using a little bit of yellow oxide ink and then some gray ink around the edges just a little bit. Just give it a little spooky, foggy look. Nothing too terribly difficult, and that's going to go right behind our little ghost. So I'm going to glue him right there so he's got a little moon behind him. And that's going to be the inside of our card there. So here's our not so spooky Halloween spider. And then you open it up and surprise. Now, I just thought that it would be really cool to have the smaller spider in the set be the thing that pops out at you. That would be really cool too, but I liked the ghost with the boo sentiment as well. So whatever you want to do, it's a fun idea for Halloween. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more inspiration real soon. Bye-bye.